Look at all these bees. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. It's pretty windy. So hey, it is Saturday, April 1st, just about 1 o'clock, 78 degrees. And as you can see, I'm over here in a different part of Jacksonville. We've had some wind gusts in the 20-mile-an-hour range. So hey, I got a phone call from a gentleman the other day that I just happened to follow up with this morning. And apparently there might be a honeybee swarm in this dwelling behind me. So different part of Jacksonville. I can't say I've been over here before, but pretty impressed. So that's the before behind me. Check out the after. So whatever company is doing the work, they're definitely making some nice renovations. So hey, like usual, enough me yapping. Let's go check out 1817 and see if we can determine if they have a honeybee swarm or an actual removal, not a relocation, but a removal, because the gentleman said they're in a wall. He said I'm free to basically tear the siding off because they're gonna renovate it, as y'all see. So let's go see what we're facing here. This might be a project for another day, but since I was over in this area, I just wanted to come check it out and see if it's something that I can actually tackle. All right, a little confusion. I thought it was this building behind me, but you can see that says 1815. Walked around a little bit, and yeah, sure enough, this gentleman was right. That is a 100% bee swarm, or actually it's a colony. It's not a swarm. All right, so hey, it's just after 3:30, same day. We've had a pretty significant weather change. Got some clouds and stormy weather rolling in, and it looks like the weather change has brought a lot of the bees home. So I'm gonna get my ladder out, start popping some siding off. I have permission to go inside the house, maybe poke a few holes in the drywall and figure out what we're looking at here. So I engaged with a few other beekeepers from the club, mainly Paul and Bill. But of course, as soon as Paul got done with some projects around his house, he was loading up his truck to come over and help me. And he discovered that he has one, if not two swarms in his backyard hanging from a pine tree or a magnolia tree or something. So he might come over later and help me out. But yeah, I'm gonna get suited up and see what I can figure out, come up with a game plan, and hopefully we can get them out of the wall, relocate it into some equipment, and moved over into my yard. At least it's cooled off. I didn't look at the temperature, but it's probably in the low 70s now, and it feels nice. And go figure, the bees decided to settle into the wall here of an abandoned house that they're fixing up. But look around, there is just a ton of clover, which is a great food source for them. All right, enough of me yapping. Let me get suited up, like I said, and figure out what I'm looking at here. Already just made a test hole, and I guess I measured the location of the hive correctly. It was about 2.5 of my small crowbar from the window and about 1.5 up. So here starts the fun. All right, my second trip outside, mainly to go get the 10-frame box, but yeah, after disturbing the drywall, a whole bunch more bees on the outside of the house and trying to attack me and the camera. So I'm about to get to work. I'll record when I can. Basically just gonna knock out a portion of the drywall, see what I can access and assess, meaning hopefully I can determine how big the hive is, and if I can find the queen, easy peasy. If not, TBD. So wish me luck. All right, just a quick update. Got my 10-frame box in here. Middle frames, 3 or 4 frames have some drawn comb. Use my smoker box as a makeshift tripod or the 10 frame until I start dropping bees in there. But yeah, kind of stereotypical look for a cutout, at least from what I've watched on YouTube. Again, this is our first, so here we go. Rain just stopped. It's nice and humid. Doesn't get much more enjoyable than this, so wish me luck. I'm about to start basically cutting out a square in the drywall, and hopefully we can start getting some bees into the box here. All right, this might be a pretty cool first look. So basically knocked enough of the drywall loose. Oh yeah, they are filling in, I would imagine, the space right in between the studs with comb, with drawn comb, which makes sense. The site manager I've been talking to, he said they've been here for about a month, so this should be fun. All right, quick update. I just did a test hole on the bottom here, and so far there are bees everywhere. So I'm gonna start testing left to right on the top and the bottom and try and figure out how big this hive is. All right, well, this has gotten very interesting very quickly. It is pretty much as big as I can tell, so really trying to assess next steps here. I can see the light. All right, so this is interesting. That is the main entrance. There's honey dripping, but yeah, that's the main entrance they've been using, and they have just built, I mean, it's like an 8-foot hive by maybe 2 foot or 18 inches right between the studs. I've stopped knocking out the drywall. Well, actually, let me back up. So did a few test holes in case I didn't share that before, and it looks like the hive is primarily right between these studs. And I've been hanging out a little bit and really trying to watch very closely to see if I can find the queen. If I could find her, that would be fantastic. That would make things a little easier. They're fanning like crazy, so she might be like right here somewhere. It's just hard to tell. But I'm gonna have to make a trip to the old Wally World and get some rubber bands, because I'm about to start cutting out some of this comb and rubber banding it in between frames. Hey, good morning everybody. So it is Sunday, April 2nd, right at 8 in the morning. Temperature's about 50 degrees, and I'm back over here at 817 Onslow Drive, I believe is the road. So as you can see, due to the weather and the temperature change, we do have some bees flying, or a bee. Looks like a few bees got caught outside. I don't know if they're just cold or maybe they died, but yeah, let's get inside. Let's get inside the room and see what we got going on. But I already noticed this. We got a cluster on the window here, and in fact, I'm gonna put my jacket on because we already got bees flying and I don't really feel like starting the day that way. So let me get suited up. We'll go inside, take a look, and I'll show you my plan today, because I am way more prepared than yesterday. But yesterday was not a loss because I was able to knock out the drywall. So today I should be able to get going real quick. But yeah, I'll show you in a second how I'm gonna attack this today. All right. I imagine this will probably take a few hours, but if I can get out of here before noon, I'd say that's a win. All right, here we go. I guess I forgot to close the back door. Oh my goodness. All right, cluster right here, as y'all saw. I don't know if you can see this or not. Look at all these bees. So yeah, I'd say this is a pretty large hive, pretty large colony. And in fact, before I really start disturbing them too much, I have a queen clip in my pocket here. I just need to get my flashlight, but I'm gonna try to observe them for a few minutes, see if I can tell where a dense cluster is, and also pay attention to this cluster on the window. And if I can find the queen, that'll really make things today go a lot smoother and less chaotic than I'd imagine. But yeah, this is why I wanted to come over this morning, because I figured they would be clustered with the temperature. And if I can't find the queen, spoiler alert, at least vacuuming them up will go a lot easier. So I have quite a bit of stuff to drag out of the car. So let me get that going and try and get out of here before noon, like I said. All right, here we go. Another shout out to Paul from Warden's Farm for having the stuff I need to be a better beekeeper. So Paul was kind enough to let me borrow his inverter and bee vac. I'll show you that here in a second, but yeah, I'm all set, ready to go. I'm gonna take a look at the colony real quick with my flashlight, hit them with the flashlight, see if I can find an area that looks like the queen might be hanging out, and if not, I'm just gonna proceed to vacuuming up the entire colony, which I'll show you. So yeah, here's the bee vac. It's just one of those bucket head vacuum heads and a few buckets from Lowe's. Any 5-gallon bucket will do, but good on Paul for being a friend and great fellow beekeeper and being prepared, which is something if y'all haven't noticed, I need to do a better job at. So anyway, we're about to get going. All right, one last ditch effort to find the queen. I mean, she can be anywhere, obviously. Usually find her close to brood, which they're doing a good job bringing in the nectar. I don't really see a whole bunch of brood, at least not on this outside layer. I imagine with the drywall space typically being a few inches thick, this might get messy real quick. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna make the most of today and just see what we can do here. Try and get the majority of the bees out of the way. Got a whole bunch of drones. All right, here we go. We're starting to get disturbed, so I'm about to start vacuuming them up. Okay, well, it ain't rocket science, and they are starting to get upset. So I'm just gonna move as quick as possible here. Might take a little bit, so I'll keep you all posted as anything interesting takes place. Well, that didn't take too long to knock a lot of bees off the bottom portion here. This is kind of cool. Start exposing some of the capped brood. All right, quick update. So I started my timer on the phone just to see how long this took and just to kind of keep tabs on how long I've had the car running. But I managed to get quite a bit of bees. Not all of them, but the majority, I'd say, in about 13 minutes. So I'm gonna turn off the car, kind of let things settle a little bit. See what this feels like. There's a decent amount of bees in there. yeah, I'm gonna let things settle and just give them a few minutes. Yeah, check that out. It's like a full bucket of bees right there. I also forgot about those over on the window, so I'm gonna suck them up real quick, turn the car off, again, let things settle, and then probably start cutting out comb and putting it in frames. So far, things are moving along pretty nicely. All right, first piece of comb I just removed, and I was not surprised to find more bees behind it, but I think we're starting to now get into the brood. And in fact, we got some bees hatching, if the GoPro focuses right by the tip of my finger. So yeah, kind of curious to see how deep this hive is. Again, that was just the first patch. I'm gonna get that framed up. Got my rubber bands ready, and it's a beautiful sight. That's pretty much an entire frame's worth of comb. And look at the honey dripping. So, about to have some sticky fingers today. Got some sheetrock. All right, I'll keep y'all posted. All right, it might not be pretty, but first cut frame going into the Hive Butler. Should check them out too. Awesome product. All right, if I keep filming at this rate, I'll be here all day, and I'm trying to get out of here by noon. So I'm gonna pick up the pace. And again, I'll keep y'all posted with what's going on, but one frame, already got some sticky fingers. Quick update, so it is 9:30. I've been going at this just over an hour, and I've been able to remove the majority of the comb. I just have some cleanup to do. I'll pick up all the loose comb that I've pretty much just knocked out of the way, and try to frame up one more frame with some comb. And if I'm able to do so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that gives me 9 frames of drawn comb, which is great. I have a full bucket of bees. I'm gonna try to remember to weigh that full and then weigh it empty, just out of curiosity to see how many pounds of bees I was able to remove from this location. Somehow I have a bee crawling in up my arm. I'm not sure how I got there, but I'll have to get rid of it. And then just do some final cleanup and get out of here. So 10:30 is the goal now. All right, so hey, it's 9:45, and this is pretty much as good as I'm gonna get right now, which I'd say is pretty darn good. Managed to get this entire section between the studs cleaned up. As you can see, very minimal bees. There's gonna be bees flying around because there's a bunch of comb on the ground. I think I'm gonna leave the bucket here, head back to the house, move these 10 frames into some equipment, and dump the bees into that box as well. They love this window for whatever reason, but yeah, it's about an hour and a half worth of work just to get the bees out of the wall, and honestly, maybe like another hour once I get home, between moving the equipment into the bee yard and then transferring the bees. But yeah, let's take another peek. This bucket is full. Holy smokes. I mean, they are packed. They are absolutely packed. That has to weigh 10 pounds. So, all right, excited to get home. Again, I'm gonna try and remember to weigh this bucket full and then weigh it empty out of curiosity. And I think folks will probably be curious to see just how many bees were in the wall here. All right, hey, here we go. I'm over in my bee yard. It's just after 10:30. The accurate backyard weather station says it's 61 or 62%. Humidity's around the low 40s, maybe 41 or 42. I have the 10 frames in the Hive Butler. I have 10 frames in the 10 frame box. I'm thinking about grabbing another box, putting the 10 frames from the Hive Butler in that, putting that on the bottom. Let's see, moving this box on top, pulling some frames out, and then showing y'all just how many bees we were able to get. I'm excited. Hopefully y'all are excited to see what that looks like when I dump them into the boxes. I'm also thinking about closing up the front for the rest of the day, maybe coming out this afternoon and opening up the hive just so they really anchor down on some of the frames of brood that I gave them. But yeah, let me get set up and let's see how many bees were in this cutout. Let's get started. So about 11 frames of some very nice drawn comb. Let's start to get that moved over. Try to make the most of it with some of the very loose comb or just kind of pieces of comb. As you can see, this one's kind of falling around, but I figure the bees will make short work of that in no time. So anyway, not the best frame, but it does have some nice brood on it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this looks like when I dump the bucket. Yeah, so for instance, it's a pretty nice frame. A lot of drone brood, but beggars can't be choosers. So if you didn't catch the beginning of the video, this is, no kidding, the first cutout I've ever attempted. It was fun, it was a lot of work, but honestly not as much work as I thought. Like, it actually went, I thought it went pretty smooth. Yeah, check that out. It's a nice brood frame right there. Put that in the middle. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna transfer the frames over plus the one extra one, so I'll have to move one frame out of the top box. I'm actually gonna pull quite a few frames out of the top box to really make some room for when I dump the bees into the equipment here. Yeah, not much to moving the frames over. Look how slick they are with honey. But yeah, so I actually walked away with 13 frames of drawn comb, a whole bunch of bees down in the bottom, and I'll set the hive butler in front of the equipment just so once the bees get cleaned off, they'll find their way home. So this is what I'm gonna do. I have the top box configured like such. The outside frames, 2 on each side, just have plastic foundation. The center 2 have drawn comb. I'm just gonna slide those aside so when I dump the bees in, they have plenty of space. And then I'm gonna put the 3 comb, or the 3 frames of drawn comb, checkerboarded in the center here. So I'll have one here, some drawn comb, one here, some drawn comb, and then one here. And that should really get the bees to move up and the queen to start using the top box quickly. So let me finish a few things and we'll definitely look at the grand finale here, dumping the bucket of bees into the equipment. One more look at the screen. So I'm excited. I don't know if I said this or not, but I ended up weighing myself holding the bucket. So I'm gonna weigh myself later today holding the bucket once it's empty, and very curious to see the weight in bees. It is about half a bucket's worth, which is crazy. All right, y'all ready? Smells absolutely great. But yeah, check that out. It filled up this entire box. So stacking 2 deeps, I'd say was a pretty good idea. All right, let me get things situated. Like I said, I'm gonna move the hive butler in front of the hive here. I'm gonna move the bucket in front of the hive as well. and just give them the rest of the day to find their way home. All right, just wanted to get into the cutout. Not really sure what hive number this is right now. Just want to take a quick look. Not really looking for the queen, but something caught my eye after I peeked in here, and I'm not really sure what to make of it, but I'm looking at possibly a whole bunch of dead bees. So I don't know if that's from the vacuum or there were too many bees in the vacuum, which I guess could be a possibility. But I'm gonna move the top box over onto the inner cover, which also gives me space for the rest of the frames that I would like to move over. But yeah, not really sure what to make of it. Maybe they just got damaged in the vacuum. So I think, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to grab the rest of the frames from the Hive Butler, put them into the top box here, and then with the Hive Butler completely empty in front of this box, I'm going to carefully and slowly just kind of sweep the bees into the Hive Butler, and hopefully any remaining bees that are alive, well, it just gives them space to move around, and maybe there's a few alive ones that are buried. So we'll see. First time using the vacuum, not blaming the vacuum at all. I mean, it made for a very easy job. I didn't think I was gonna kill a bunch of bees, but I guess that is a potential side effect. But nonetheless, let me see what I can do here. All right, yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a lot of bees ended up getting killed as I removed them from that cutout. So I scooped a bunch off. I'll show you that in a second. Basically thinned out the pile to where the bees that are alive and may have been a little buried can basically get unburied, and maybe just start dragging a whole bunch of dead bees out. But yeah, maybe a pound or two. It's hard to say really how many bees did not survive that removal, but looking for signs that they might have a queen. I don't see too many bees fanning, but I am going to check back later today. So I'm going to give them a few hours to settle in, and then I'm going to check back later, and hopefully things are looking a little better by then. But either way, I mean, you know, nothing's perfect. Bees are going to die no matter what you do, but I was going to say, either way, seems to be a pretty substantial hive in size, pretty substantial colony. So we'll just have to keep an eye on them, like all colonies, and see what happens. So I'll be out here in a few hours, and I'll show you what that looks like later today. One final thought. I'm just going to dump the bees on the ground, and hopefully that allows any survivors to really get out and get into the colony. Because I'm thinking some might just be heavily coated with honey, and that's what's really preventing them from getting up and moving around. So we'll see. Trial and error at this point, but I mean, that's a lot better of a sign than I thought I would have seen when I dumped them out. So a whole bunch of movement. Not all are alive, but I'm thinking by doing this, at least it'll give them a chance to really dry off and hopefully move back up into the colony here. All right, again, TBD. I'll give them a few hours and then check back this afternoon